Hello and welcome to Archvelder's Balls with Archvelder and his amazing balls. In this video I'm going to show you the most broken damage ability in the game currently, and that's the arcane mage spell Arcanosphere. So let's go bowling. Arcanosphere is stupidly overpowered. First, the raw damage the sphere does is very high. On my eye level 224 mage, it does over 13k damage. As we'll see, that can easily be buffed up to 50k damage, critting for 100k damage. That alone places it quite high up in the Great Blizzard pantheon of messed up, poorly designed abilities. But the kicker with this is that Arcanosphere goes through solid objects. I'll just repeat, it goes through solid objects, walls and all other barriers. This is the stupidly unfair part of this broken ability. You can literally one-shot multiple players who can't see you and do not know you are there. Done right, there is just no way to defend against it. As we'll see, you can exploit this even further by glitching into safe areas outside of battlegrounds. But there's one more thing, as if all that wasn't already too much, and that's that this ability has knockback, which would be fantastic for knocking players off cliffs and so forth if they hadn't already been killed by the damage of the sphere itself. I suspect Blizzard didn't intend for Arcanosphere to go through walls. I suspect they just couldn't be bothered with the collision coding because it was too much work, and so added some bullshit to the tooltip, making out that it was a feature. I suspect this because Blizzard very reliably comes up with some new ability every few months, which unintentionally goes through walls, which Mythic Plus players complain about when they pull literally every mob in a dungeon. So let's get into how we can take control of this overpowered ability. Using it, you'll be able to one-shot up to 10 players when they're stacked together, often turning the tide of battle with a single cast. First, let's cover how to maximize damage from the sphere. Note that this is not the same as the build you'd use for an arcane mage generally. I'm just going to be choosing abilities based on buffing the Arcanosphere. First row doesn't matter, choose any talent. For the second row, shimmer is best as it increases Arcanosphere's already impressive range, as we'll see. Third row, you must choose rune of power. The DPS increase is very significant. For the fourth and fifth rows, choose whatever you like. For the sixth row, I would choose arcane orb because it is excellent for testing whether enough enemies are in range for your Arcanosphere. The final row, you must choose overpowered. Again, it's a significant damage increase. For PvP talents, you must obviously choose Arcanosphere itself. I'd also choose mass invisibility, as it is great for setting up a one-shot. And for exactly the same reason, choose the Master of Escape talent. Now for Covenants, I'm normally Night Fae, but I actually changed Covenant for this video to Necrolord, and this is mainly because of Deathborne, which turns you into a skeletal mage and gives you a 15% damage bonus. If you choose Emily as a soulbind, you get the additional benefit of lead by example in the first row, which increases your intellect by up to 13%, depending how many allies are around. In the second row, use Gift of the Lich as a potency conduit to increase Deathborne's duration. You need this because you'll be stacking a ton of abilities into a single macro, and you need the extra time. Nothing else is important. So this is the macro that we're going to use to put all this stuff together. You can cut and paste it from the description below. Note that Potion of Spectral, Intellect and Saltwater Potion do not share a cooldown in PvP, and the synergy is very powerful, probably an exploit itself, or at least an oversight. The Spectral Intellect Potion can be expensive and it's not absolutely essential. I've killed up to 9 players without it, but the synergy with Saltwater Potion is really nice for the burst. Now, the only legendary that buffs Arcanosphere is Siphon Storm. and this works by increasing your intellect by 2% for every tick of evocation. It's not practical to work evocation into the macro, so you'll have to pre-cast it before you cast the macro. Now, to add some icing onto the cake, you can add steak a la mode, that's a food buff which gives you versatility, shadow core oil, which you can apply to your weapon, and veiled argument runes, which will provide a small increase to your intellect. None of these are especially essential. Also, there are battleground specific damage increase items such as Alterac Valley's Stormpike Battle Stand, which increases damage by 10%, which you may wish to add to the macro when you're in that specific battleground. Now, this macro is a lot of fun to use in epic battlegrounds, as you can toast multiple players with it. If you can find an area where players won't normally expect to find you, such as this area under the bridge in Ashran, this is an excellent location, you can kill up to 10 players instantly from full health. You can take it one stage further and glitch off the map or into inaccessible areas and one-shot multiple players from nowhere. This is ridiculously enjoyable and best of all requires no skill whatsoever. If you really want to push this to utterly ludicrous lengths, try something like this. In Alterac Valley in the Alliance base of Dun Baldar, if you stand next to the druids here, you are actually on the same level of elevation as the Alliance boss Vandar. You can launch an arcanosphere 60 yards through mountains of walls into the fortress and kill completely unsuspecting horde who engage Vandar at the end of the battle. Here's something a small team of mages might want to try. In Ashran, the horde boss Voldrath is inside this building. Voldrath doesn't reset or regain health if you attack him. You can repeatedly cast arcanospheres at him through the wall. He's got a leash, so he'll never be able to attack you. In theory, you could actually kill him doing this. The horde players never seem to notice. In practice, the most I could do solo was about a third of Volrath's health before the battleground ended. But for multiple mages, and you'll need at least 3, killing Volrath this way is quite possible. If you've got a passion for exploits and you enjoyed this video, then you'll want to join my Patreon, where I can talk about forbidden strategies that couldn't be discussed publicly, such as this amazing X-ray vision hack, and an entire archive of dozens of active exploits that I've just finished checking and summarizing. Thanks for watching.